Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today. You don't have to chase nobody. I said what I said. You don't have to run after anybody trying to prove your worth. When you start focusing on yourself, when you shift your energy, when you change your priorities, that's when the game changes. See, too many people out here wasting their time begging for attention, begging for love, begging for somebody to see them. But the real move, don't chase, change. And let them sit over there wondering, what happened? Why is she acting different? Why he not calling me no more? Let me tell you something real right now. The moment you stop chasing is the moment you start winning. See, the reason so many people stay stuck is because they spend all their energy running after things and people that don't even see their worth. They think if they just try a little harder, text a little more, call a little louder, then maybe, just maybe, they'll get noticed. But here's the truth. Self-respect starts the minute you decide that your peace is more valuable than someone else's attention. And I ain't talking about pretending to be strong while secretly still hoping for that call. I'm talking about real self-respect, the kind that makes you look in the mirror and say, I'm enough and I'm done begging. When you focus on self-growth instead of chasing, everything changes. Because growth is quiet. Growth doesn't need applause. It doesn't need validation. Growth is when you hit that gym, read that book, build that business, work on that dream, not because you want to show off, but because you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the person you were yesterday to be better today. And while you're out here evolving, the same people you once chased will start to feel that shift. They might not say it out loud, but trust me, they'll feel it. That's because energy doesn't lie. When you stop chasing, your energy becomes powerful. It draws in what's meant for you and repels what's not. People get addicted to you when you respect yourself. Why? Because confidence is magnetic. When you stand tall, when you start settling, when you refuse to be treated like an option, that's when people start seeing you differently. But you got to make that shift inside first. Stop thinking that chasing equals love. Stop thinking that effort will make somebody stay. No, what makes people stay is when they realize you don't need them to complete you. You're already whole, and anyone who wants to be in your life has to add peace, not problems. The sad part is, most folks won't realize your value until you stop giving them discounts. That's right. Every time you chase, you're giving them a discount on your worth. You're saying, I'll lower my standards, I'll ignore my needs just to keep you around. But when you decide that your self-respect is non-negotiable, the price goes up. And let me tell you, the right people will gladly pay full price. They'll meet your standards, they'll respect your boundaries, and they'll cherish your presence. But first, you got to stop giving yourself away cheap. So focusing on self-growth also means being okay with solitude. A lot of people chase because they're scared to be alone. They think being single means they're not enough. But let me tell you, there's power in solitude. That's where you build. That's where you heal. That's where you figure out who you really are, without the noise, without the drama. And when you come out of that season of growth, you're stronger, wiser, and unshakable. That's when people start wondering, what happened to them? Why they acting brand new? But you ain't acting, you're evolving. And evolution always makes people uncomfortable, especially the ones who benefited from your old insecure version. So don't waste another minute chasing people who ain't checking for you. Use that energy to chase your goals, your health, your peace, because the truth is, when you level up, you won't even want the things and people you used to beg for. Your taste will change, your standards will rise, and that's the real glow up. when you're no longer available for what once broke you. The real shift in life doesn't happen when you start talking more. It happens when you change your energy and priorities. People think if they just explain enough, argue enough, or convince hard enough, they'll finally get the respect they deserve. But life doesn't work like that. Respect doesn't come from words, it comes from presence. It comes from the unspoken energy you carry when you walk into a room. You don't need to tell anybody you've changed. You just need to shift your energy, and they will feel it. They'll notice when you stop showing up the way you used to, when you stop overgiving, when you stop answering every call, every text, every cry for attention. That's when the message is loud and clear, without you even saying a word. See, people get comfortable with the version of you that bends over backward for them. They get used to the you that's always available, always compromising, always trying to fix things, and they expect you to keep playing that role forever. But when you change your energy, when you start protecting your peace and prioritizing your well-being, everything shifts. Suddenly, they feel the distance. Suddenly, they start wondering what's going on. And that's powerful, because now they have to deal with the reality that you're no longer operating on the same frequency. You've leveled up. And not everybody gets access to that new version of you. Changing your priorities is where the real work happens. It means you stop putting other people's needs above your own. It means you finally understand that self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. It means you spend less time trying to manage other people's emotions and more time mastering your own. Your peace becomes non-negotiable. Your dreams become urgent. Your goals take center stage. And when you start moving like that, people notice. The same folks you used to chase will suddenly feel left out, wondering why you're no longer running after them. But you don't owe them an explanation. Your changed energy does all the talking for you. People will always try to test you when you change. They'll try to pull you back into old patterns. They'll send those little messages to see if you still respond the same way. They'll call you out saying you've changed, like it's a bad thing. And that's when you have to stand firm. Don't fall back into over-explaining. Don't try to make them understand your growth. Just keep moving. Your consistency and your new energy is what teaches people how to treat you. It sets the standard. And believe me, the right ones will rise to meet you there. The wrong ones will fall off. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. The moment you change your priorities, you take your power back. You stop waiting for validation from people who were never qualified to give it. You stop centering your life around who likes you, who approves of you, who chooses you. You start choosing yourself every single day. And that choice shifts your whole world. Opportunities open up. Your circle gets smaller but stronger. Your mind gets clearer and your heart gets lighter because you're no longer carrying the weight of trying to please everybody else. So forget about using words to prove you've changed. Forget about long speeches, deep posts, and dramatic statements. Just change your energy, change your focus, change where your time and attention go, and let them feel the difference. Let them sit with the discomfort of not having access to you the way they used to. That silence, that distance, that shift, it speaks louder than anything you could ever say, and it keeps your power right where it belongs, with you. There comes a point when words just don't cut it anymore. You can explain yourself over and over, but the truth is, people only start paying attention when your actions change. That's where the real power is. You want them to wonder? You want them to sit back and ask themselves what's going on? Stop talking and start moving different. Because actions shake people in a way that words never will. When you stop reacting the same way, stop showing up for situations that drain you, stop entertaining nonsense, that's when people start noticing. And let me tell you, curiosity is a powerful thing. It makes them uncomfortable. It makes them question. It makes them realize they never really had control over you like they thought they did. See, when you keep explaining your growth, your change, your new mindset, people tune out. They think it's just talk. They think you'll go right back to your old ways as soon as they apply a little pressure. But when your actions stay solid, when you maintain that distance, when you stick to your new boundaries, no matter how much they poke and prod, that's when it hits them. That's when they sit in silence, wondering why you're not reacting, why you're not running back, why you're so calm while they're losing their grip on you. And that silence, that pause, that shift in energy, it speaks louder than 1,000 speeches. Let your actions do the heavy lifting. You used to reply within minutes, now you take your time. You used to say yes to everything, now you're selective. You used to show up even when it drains you, now you choose your peace over their comfort. These little changes might seem small, but together they create a force that people can't ignore. They will feel the distance. They will feel the change in your spirit, even if you never say a word about it. And that feeling will haunt them more than any argument ever could. Because now you've shifted the power dynamic. You're no longer the one chasing. You're the one they're trying to figure out. People respect what they can't predict. When they know exactly how you'll react, they get comfortable, even careless. But when you start moving in silence, when you start making power moves without broadcasting them, when you start showing up differently, you create curiosity that makes them pay attention. Now they're watching you, wondering about you, trying to figure out where they stand with you. And that wondering, that's your power. That's where you win. Because now the focus has shifted. They're the ones chasing answers while you're over here focused on your growth, your peace, your future. This is not about playing games. It's about reclaiming your worth through action, not words. It's about setting a standard without ever having to spell it out. People will test you. They will try to drag you back into old patterns, but you got to stay solid. Keep letting your actions do the talking. Keep letting your consistency show them that this change is real, that you're not going backward. And every time they reach out and get that new version of you, the calm, self-respecting, unbothered version, they get the message loud and clear. The beautiful thing is, as you keep moving like this, you start to attract people and opportunities that match your new energy. You're no longer available for chaos. You're no longer accessible to people who only valued you when you were easy to control. And that shift changes everything. The same people who once overlooked you will start watching you with new eyes. The same ones who thought you'd always be there will now wonder if they ever really knew you at all. That's the power of action. That's the power of moving different. No announcement needed, no explanation required. Just let them feel the change and let their curiosity do the rest. There is real power in silence. In a world where everybody wants to have the last word, where people are fighting to be heard, the one who stays silent holds the real strength. Protecting your dignity starts the moment you realize that not every action deserves your reaction. Not every insult requires a comeback. Not every lie deserves your defense. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing and let your silence speak volume. Because when you stay silent and graceful, you take back your power. You refuse to be dragged into battles that are beneath you, and trust me, that shakes people up more than any loud response ever could. People will push you, test you, provoke you, just to see if they can still control your emotions. They'll say things designed to hurt you, to pull you back into old patterns, to make you react like you used to. But when you refuse to give them that satisfaction, when you stay calm, when you protect your peace like it's your most valuable treasure, That's when you show them who you really are now. You're no longer that person who could be rattled so easily. You've grown. You've evolved. And now your silence is your shield. Your grace is your armor. And nobody gets to steal your peace without your permission. See, when you argue back, when you fight for validation, when you try to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you, you lower yourself. You hand over your dignity for the chance to be right. But being right doesn't always bring peace. And at this stage in your life, peace is the priority. Your dignity is too expensive to waste on cheap arguments. Your self-respect is too valuable to throw into the mud with people who don't even deserve access to you anymore. That's why staying silent isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's you choosing to rise above. It's you deciding that your energy is reserved for building, not battling. Grace is when you know you could clap back, but you choose not to. Grace is when you walk away not because you're afraid, but because you're above it. And that kind of self-control is rare. That kind of strength makes people uncomfortable because they can't figure you out. They can't predict you anymore. And that mystery, that restraint, that's what makes them sit in their own chaos while you stay calm in your peace. They wanted you to lose control, to get loud, to break your own character. But instead, you held your ground, stayed poised, and protected your dignity. And in doing that, you win without lifting a finger. People will notice the change even if they don't admit it. They will feel the shift in your energy when you stop engaging with negativity. They will wonder why you're so calm, why you're no longer available for their drama, why their usual tricks no longer work on you. And that's exactly where you want them, confused, unsettled, and left wondering, because you're too focused on your growth to even look back. You're too committed to your peace to entertain what used to drain you. And every time you choose silence over chaos, grace over drama, dignity over petty battles, you reinforce your worth not just to them, but to yourself. This is how you protect your crown, not by shouting that you're a queen or a king, but by moving like one, by staying unbothered when the noise gets loud, by choosing peace even when your pride wants revenge, by staying still when everything around you is trying to pull you out of character. And the beautiful thing is, the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes, the less you feel the need to explain, to prove, to fight for attention or approval. Because deep down, you know that real power doesn't need to shout. It only needs to be felt. And your silence, your grace, your unshakable dignity, that's what they'll feel the most. Real change, the kind that sticks, doesn't need to beg for attention. It doesn't need to scream, "Look at me, I've changed," because true change speaks for itself. It carries a different weight, a different energy. And when you shift for real, when you grow from the inside out, people can't help but notice, even if you never say a word. That's the beauty of genuine transformation. It pulls in the right people, the right opportunities, the right energy, all without you forcing it. Because when you level up, you naturally rise above the things and people that no longer match where you're headed. That's not effort, that's alignment. See, people spend so much time trying to convince the wrong crowd that they've changed. They bend over backward trying to prove they're better now, different now, worthy now. But the ones who are meant to be in your life, the ones who really see you, they won't need convincing. They will feel your new energy. They will respect your growth without you having to explain it over and over. True change attracts. It doesn't chase, it doesn't beg, it doesn't plead for recognition. It just moves in silence, steady and strong. And the right people will naturally be drawn to that strength. You don't have to perform for approval. when you've really done the inner work. The people who couldn't see your worth before, let them go blind. The ones who overlooked you when you were still figuring it out, let them miss out. Because now your light is shining in a way that can't be ignored by those who are aligned with your purpose. And the beautiful part is you're not even trying. You're just living, just being authentic, just staying true to your new path. And that alone shifts the whole atmosphere around you. This is why it's so important to stop focusing on who isn't paying attention. Stop wasting your energy trying to get validation from people who were never meant to be part of your next chapter. Because while you're busy looking back, trying to prove you've changed, you're missing the ones ahead who are already inspired by your journey, who are ready to support and uplift you without conditions. True change clears out the clutter. It removes the wrong and makes space for the right. And that process happens naturally without you having to force it. When you grow, your frequency changes. And people feel that, whether they admit it or not. Some will be drawn in, curious, impressed by your evolution. Others will pull away, uncomfortable because your growth shines a light on their stagnation. Let them. That's part of the process. Your only job is to stay committed to your path, to keep watering your own garden, to keep building in silence while the right attention finds you, and it will. Because authentic change is magnetic. It doesn't have to shout to be noticed. It radiates from within. And the right people can't help but be pulled toward that energy. So trust in your growth. Trust that the work you're doing on yourself is shifting things in your favor, even when you can't see it yet. Trust that the right eyes are watching, the right doors are opening, the right people are being positioned in your path, and none of it requires you to chase or force or over-explain. Your transformation is your loudest statement. Your elevation is your best revenge. And when it's real, when it's rooted in truth, it will always, always attract what is meant for you, effortlessly. At the end of the day, the real victory is not in making them notice you. It's not in getting their attention, their approval, or even their apology. The real win is when you look in the mirror and see someone you finally respect. Self-respect is the prize, is the foundation, is the thing that holds you up when everything else falls apart. Because attention comes and goes. People will notice you today and forget you tomorrow. They will clap when you entertain them and go silent when you stop giving them what they want. But self-respect, that stays with you. That's your anchor. That's what makes you sleep peacefully at night, knowing you didn't lower your standards for anyone. Too many people confuse attention with value. They chase after eyes on them, thinking that if people are watching, they must be winning. But attention is cheap. Anyone can get it by making noise, causing drama, or playing games. True power is quiet. True worth doesn't need an audience. And real victory is when you stop performing for others and start living for yourself. When you respect yourself so deeply that you no longer tolerate disrespect in any form, not from others and not from yourself. That's when you know you've truly leveled up. Self-respect is when you choose peace over chaos, even when chaos is familiar. It's when you walk away from people and situations that no longer align with your growth, even if it hurts. It's when you say no and mean it without guilt, without apology. It's when you set boundaries and enforce them, not to punish others, but to protect your own well-being. And every time you do that, you reinforce your worth. Every time you choose yourself, you build a stronger foundation that no one can shake. People will try to test your self-respect. They will try to see if they can still cross the lines they once did. They will dangle their attention like bait, hoping you'll slip back into old habits just to win their validation. But that's where you stand firm. That's where you remind yourself that their attention is not the prize. Your peace is. And when you protect those things, you're not losing. You're winning in ways they can't even understand. Real victory is internal. It's quiet. It's the calm you feel when you no longer react to things that used to steal your joy. It's the power you hold when you walk away from nonsense without looking back. It's the confidence that grows when you no longer need anyone else to tell you that you're enough because you already know it. That's self-respect. And once you have it, no one can take it from you. No amount of attention can replace it. No outside validation can compete with the deep, unshakable knowing that you are worthy just as you are. So let them wonder, let them gossip, let them spin stories about why you've changed. You don't owe them anything. You don't need to explain your growth to people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. Your job is to stay focused on your elevation. Your job is to protect your peace at all costs. Your job is to respect yourself so fully that anything less becomes instantly unacceptable. That's where your true power lies. Not in chasing their attention, but in standing so firm in your self-worth that their approval becomes irrelevant. When you operate from that place, everything changes. You attract better. You move wiser. You live freer. Because you're no longer trapped by the need to be seen, heard, or validated by people who don't even meet your new standard. Your self-respect becomes your compass, guiding you toward spaces and people that honor your worth. And that's the real victory, the kind that can't be faked, the kind that can't be taken away, the kind that only grows stronger with time. That's the win that matters.